The heaviest things in life aren't iron and gold, but unmade decisions.
Execute. Execute on the things that they say they wanted to get done. Execute on the things that you said you were going to execute on.
It doesn't matter whether I achieve all of my goals or I don't achieve all of the goals. In 3 generations, I'll be forgotten, and the only people who were naysaying against me will also be dead. Living the life that you don't want, not wearing what you want to wear, not dating who you want to date, not living where you want to live. Like, you're living at home and you want to move and your parents say no and you don't make the move, or you're dating a girl because she's socially accepted, by your friend group, she's safe, but like there's always some distance in between you, but you're like, I don't want to risk it, right? You're in the job and every day you go there and you're like, it's okay. And the idea of just living an okay life just sounds so terrifying to me.
You woke up, got into it with your spouse, or your kids called with something that was going on, or you were sick. Like, there are a group of people that feel like it's okay not to execute because I'm not feeling okay. Because today is not a good day. Because all the stars didn't line up. And at the end of the day, none of that matters. Like, to have a good day is great. But just because you have a good day, you still got to execute. And so I think for most people, they go wrong because they think it's a feeling when execution is a fact.
It's like the best way to guarantee to not have the life that you want is to do what everyone else is doing.
What matters is the success that I want, what I promised my grandmother, what I promised my mother, what I promised my wife, what I promised myself. I owe it to myself to still be the person that I dreamed of being, and this setback will only be a setup for a comeback.
Imagine how much you care about your mother's opinion and your father's opinion and and all of those other people. I was like, and now imagine that there's literally only one, because I had no siblings. I basically had no mother. I had just a father. And so like his approval was literally everything. And he disapproved of the path that I wanted to take in my life.
Like, you still have to do life regardless of how you come into life. And I think some people feel, well, if you come into life and everything is great, then that's the way you live life. But no, it doesn't matter. If you come in great, if you come in poorly, it does not matter. You have to do life. And if you're smart, you do life on your terms and you don't let life make you do it on its terms.
I think a lot of these mental faculties or these little frameworks or these isms just came from like, how can I combat this incredibly booming voice in the background? Because like when I look at what I was doing at the time, like I was a consultant, I graduated in 3 years, I took the consulting job, I did all the things, but the craziest thing was that the moment that my father was most proud of me and he approved of my life the most was when I was the saddest. And so that's when I was like, maybe his approval isn't the right way to feel good about life.
And I watched guys who had a royal flush lose because of the giddy and the excitement. But I also watched people who had nothing in their hand with that poker face actually act as if they had a royal flush and win. And so I learned early, like, it doesn't matter if you grow up rich, you still gotta play your hand.
Whenever I feel anxious or insecure or angry or sad, I'm like, what conversation do I need to have that I'm not having? If everybody who's like at the bottom and feels like they have nothing going for them, reframe that as, I have nothing going for me, which also means that I have nothing to lose by taking action, it makes you a much more dangerous person.
Dare you to come out of where you are to, if nobody ever influenced you, where would you want to be? Like, what do you want? What do you want to do? Not what they want you to do. If you could dream, like, what would your best life look like for you? If you didn't have to impress your mom or your dad, if you didn't have to go to college because your parents went to college, like, what would you really do? Your level of exposure often determines your level of success.
The bigger the dragon is that you have to slay, the more evidence you have that you can slay the next dragon. And I think that is, if there's ever been a good point for why getting over the first hard one is so hard, is that it will then give you the reinforcement that you can do whatever you need to do next. I was angry at both my parents because I was 19, right? And I remember blaming them for everything. Blaming them for my life, blaming them for not being a better person. I literally blamed them for being a bad person. I remember realizing that when I blamed them, that I gave them control over my life. And then the idea that the people that I hated the most at the time were the ones who actually were controlling me was the thing that most sickened me, to then actually flip my narrative to actually taking control. Like, that was the one thought process.
Because life is short, I don't have time to focus on what's not. I've got to focus on what is, then get up and go get it. And for me, it's like, guys, some of you in this room have opportunities that I don't have. Some of you in this room have connections or network I don't have. If it was easy, everybody would do it. I don't even want it to be easy. Everybody would get a PhD. If it was easy to get a PhD, then it wouldn't be valuable if you could just open up the door. So I tell people, like, look at the tragedies and say, yo, you thought well enough of me to come at me? Batman, you trained in the dark. Bane said I was born in the dark. This is what I do. Cut all the lights off if you want to. You're not gonna stop me because you got all the lights. Like, this is where I thrive. And I'm saying, if you're a real human, because we are a little different than some of the other things that were created. We have a will. There's some things that we have. I'm like, activate it. Instead of crying and quitting and giving up again, we're going to go through pain. All of us won't get a reward from it. I got a reward for mine. Like, I have worked so hard. When I die, I will physically be dead, but you'll still be knowing about Eric Thomas.
You can move through life at 7 times the rate of other people by simply changing when you say you're going to make a decision from end of week to end of day. How is that guy so young and he's achieved X, Y, and Z? It's like, well, what takes you a month to make a decision, we make it an hour. And then the next hour, I make another decision that takes you your next month. And so, like, that's how you can go 30 times or 100 times faster than the quote average person who's overweight, has $1,000 in their bank account, and is going to die at 70. And so a lot of people think that they need to fix their conditions in order to get like the perfect conditions before they start. But the perfect condition is whatever one you're in, because it gives you whatever assets you have. That's the cards that you're dealt. And so you just play the hand. And a lot of people have great cards. It's like, man, I'm so afraid of, it's like, use it. It's like, I have nothing. What makes you very dangerous, because you have nothing to lose. I started thinking, like, every day, I was like, I hope I don't wake up. You know what I mean? And that was the thing where I was like, this is a big enough problem that, like, if you don't want to wake up, then
what have you got to lose?
Exactly.